Hello, everyone, and welcome to this issue of Monday Mindset Mastery. And today I am here with Amy Janice. And Amy is she helps you with your colors, your style, really connect with the real you on the inside and the outside. So I am really excited to have Amy here. I work with Amy, and she's made a huge difference in my life and my business. So hi, Amy. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
So I'd like to let you maybe introduce yourself, and not just introduce yourself, but tell us a little bit about how you came into this business, how you got to be where you are today. If you want to start, well, start wherever you want to start. But
Okay, so I will say this wasn't something that like I set out to do. Like this is what I want to become. This is something that I was guided to, and it makes sense now that I'm here. I struggled through like a toxic relationship where I wasn't really seen and I was hiding from the world because it made it easier to function within that relationship. When I got out of that relationship, I was saying yes to all the things to discover who I am, what I like to do, all of those things. Got back to one of my dreams of writing, released my first novel in my own name, did all this, and there was still something missing. I still felt like people didn't really see me like they could see the surface level, right? Anything a 5 minute, browse through my Facebook could tell you, people could tell you that, but they didn't really see me. And I went to a speaker conference to support a friend, and there was an image consultant there who was typing people, telling them what to wear. And I had just released my first novel in my own name. I was a ghostwriter for over 20 years. So that was a big deal to me. And I was like, you know what, maybe this lady knows what she's talking about. I saw, her visuals, and I was like, okay. So for professional reasons, she could tell me what to wear. I had no intention on changing anything about my life in the grand scheme of things. When she typed me, she types in the elements, and she told me I was a fire. And I was like, yeah, I don't like those colors. And that personality doesn't seem like me. So I told her she was wrong, and I set out to prove her wrong, which in hindsight is a very fire thing to do. um, in less than an hour, I realized she was right. People were treating me differently just because I changed my shirt and the color of lipstick. That's it. And people that I knew and people that I didn't know were treating me differently. At first, I was like, okay, maybe it's just a fluke. The next day, I wore the colors again, and I wore brown eyeliner instead of black. And everyone that day who had seen me all day the day before was like, did you put color contacts in your eyes? They're so pretty. I was like, they're the same eyeballs I had yesterday. So I was like, okay, fine, there's something to this. Well, we went shopping that first night, a group of us. And when I was done picking out my things, I started helping the other girls. And the consultant said, you really have an eye for this. You need to let me train you. I was like, nope, I'm concentrating on my writing. I have no desire to do this. That continued for 2.5 years. I resisted. She told me that several times. And I finally said yes because, so now back to in less than 6 months, my life changed. My income more than doubled. My relationships strengthened with family, friends, colleagues, strangers. And I felt more at home in my own skin than I remember ever feeling. But people saw me. They weren't looking at me anymore, they were seeing me. And so I started having my family and friends typed. Started with my mom, who's a business coach. It changed her life. I was like, okay, so this is really kind of magic. Like, there's something to this. And as I'm watching people change, I was like, okay, fine. Train me. In my head, I was like, that way I could type my friends and family and stop like paying you. Well, then I decided to take on a client or two to reimburse myself for the training. And I still didn't intend to do this as a business. The first time I spoke about this publicly was actually 3 years ago. And 4 women who heard me speak came up to me within the next 24 hours. And I wasn't a speaker yet. I was not good at that. But they came up to me and said, what you said changed my life. And I got that nudge, like, okay, you're supposed to be doing this. I still ignored it because, well, I'm fire. um, it was, I think, within a couple of months, my biggest clients all decided to change the direction of their businesses. And I was like, all right, so now what? I guess we're going to give this a go. And I can tell you, I am so grateful that I listened to that nudge, because watching people rediscover who they are and see their beauty inside and out, it gives me the chills every time. Like, I get the chills every time I think about it.
Get
So
chills listening to you talk about it. So yeah, it is amazing because, when I met Amy probably about a year and a half ago, maybe, and she was speaking. She was actually just giving a testimonial for someone else, one of our other coaches, on a Zoom. And I had been looking. I had just started my new business and knew, as a speaker, I could not go up there looking like a chemical engineer, and I just was not. It wasn't going to work. So I knew I needed a style consultant. I had actually interviewed a few other people who did the image consulting work or such, and nothing felt, I just wasn't. None of them want made me want to sign up. I'm like, okay, well, that's just, I don't know. It sounds very superficial. It's like I just nothing. And I heard you talk probably for maybe 3 minutes, and I think I reached out immediately and said, I want to work with you. This is what I need, and it truly has made a huge difference in the way, not just the way other people see me, but the way I see myself, and the way I feel is a different. Like, it's getting dressed, like when I wear stuff that's in the right colors, I don't have to think about it. I just do it. Whereas I don't have the right colors for some reason, it's always like an effort. Okay, what matches? So tell us a little bit about, the different elements, and I agree with you how a lot of people seem to fight their elements. So a lot of us are wrong we're not dressing the way we should be, or we're not seeing us the way we should be to begin with.
absolutely. So I took the system that I was trained in, and then I trained in a couple of other modalities, and I've used that along with my educational background in psychology and a little bit of intuition. And I've married all of those things into the system now. So I do type in the elements, and the easiest way to describe it is probably this little story that if the four elements got together to build a house, the air, which, Lori, you're an air, the air tends to be the big ideas person that's also great at enrolling others into their ideas. So they're usually great at sales also. So the air is going to come in and be like, oh my God, you guys, we should totally build a house. We should make it yellow and put a white picket fence and put roses here and daisies here, and it's going to be amazing. The water is the order and processor. They're the usually calmer, more patient ones. They're going to come in, be like, okay, let's go ahead and get a loan, buy some property, hire some contractors, get some blueprints, get the contracts and the permits, and we're going to put this in place. And then the fire, which is huge action takers, usually they're going to come in, well, I have a hammer, let's just build this damn thing, get it done. And then the earth is like the editor or the completer. They're going to come in and be able to look in those tiny details as well as pull out to see the big picture. So they're going to come in, be like, all right, we did a good job, but the paint on that wall is 2 shades off. The crown molding over there is 1/2 inch too thick, and the fence is a little crooked on the left side. So together, the elements have built this amazing thing. And it's important to note that revealing your element does not put you in a box. It's, it's more of guidelines on your colors, but each person within that element has their own unique gifts. There's the general gifts, and then there's you and your experiences, right? We also have all 4 elements in us. Your primary element, which, like Lori said, is probably not how you've been dressing and not how you've been showing up. That's the one that dictates the colors that are aligned with you. The reason that we're typically not showing up in our truest element is because we've learned through the roles we play, or trauma, or path of least resistance, right? What makes sense on how we're supposed to show up. For example, in Western society, women are typically raised and taught to be waters. We're taught to be nurturing. We're told that's what we're supposed to be. On the flip side, especially in with very masculine fathers, boys are taught they should not be waters. You should not be emotional. Boys don't cry, right?
Mm.
So it's interesting to look at how culture can dictate some of this as well, or not dictate, but guide. Another thing is because of the roles you play or the things you may have been told growing up. For example, a lot of heirs are very loud, vivacious, bubbly, fun people. Lori is a prime
Quiet.
example. And they're usually told to be quiet. You're too
Mhm.
loud. You're too much. Calm down. Pull your head out of the clouds, right? Focus. And so they might take that and just really go hard in that direction because subconsciously the message is if I'm loud, people won't love me. If I talk too much, people won't love me. So then you spend your whole life subconsciously trying to hide that part of you. And no, look, I'm over here. I'm really focused. I'm really this. I'm really that. Become a civil engineer, or these things. Which was it fun? Did
Being
you?
an engineer, it was fun, yet it was fun in a way, like, I was never your typical engineer.
I could
I
see
was
that.
the engineer that hosted I was the engineer that planned the sales meetings and the retreats, and if I had to do just one thing and I was told, "Do this," it was like, "No." I was miserable. I was the engineer. I love the work, and I still love the detail, and that's kind of an interesting idea that, your skills and what you're good at doesn't necessarily fit your element completely because and if you can combine the two, like now I plan done for your retreats, and the air in me takes your vision and says, "Oh, we should go to Italy and do a castle, and while we're there, we'll make our own cheese." And like that's the air. But yet the engineer, which is the skills I'm really good at, can do the budget and can make sure that you're going to make money on that and can put all those details together to make sure the contractors are paid and that we've got the right. So using the two together is when you feel like you're really in the right place.
Yeah,
Whereas as an engineer, I was using the skills, so I enjoyed it. But when someone suppressed that other part of me where I couldn't do something else, I mean, when I was doing this, but also leading the safety team, that let that air in me out. So,
you got to be fun and creative. So
mhm.
one of the things I have found is fascinating is every air that I have typed, for lack of a better word. I'm changing that terminology more to a reveal and discovery because type
Mhm.
sounds so boxed in. So every air that I've worked with, they played teacher, wanted to be a teacher or something along those lines, but none of them are teachers in our education system because it's too boxed in and
Mhm.
they need that creativity. They need that room to breathe, right? So I am a fire and I lived as a water for over 3 decades. And I resonate with waters. Like even when I do like the personality test that you fill out on your own, half of the time I still come up as what I would pinpoint to be a water with the personality test. And so I'm really close between fire and water with those, but I'm definitely a fire. What happens is you embody those characteristics so much, and there is some natural aspect to that, right? So because that I call water my secondary, which means that's the second most element,
Mhm.
percentage wise, if you split it like a pie, that's my second biggest element within me. That though allows me to support people in the way that I do because as you know, I'm direct about what works and doesn't work, and I'm gentle because my whole mission is to hold the mirror for you to see your own beauty and to hold your hand on this journey. Because when you accept yourself and you step fully into the light and alignment, and you're like, this is who I was born to be, this is who I am, and I love it. When you do that, you turn on your light in a brand new way, and that gives the next person permission to do the same. Well,
Mhm.
if we were all shining our lights instead of hiding because, oh no, they won't see this part, then you're hiding your gifts with it. But when we all start shining together and lead with that love, right? It just becomes magical. Like I know, Lori, you've been in a room like this because we were in this room together, but have you ever been in a room with, I'm going to say women, but people in general who are all supportive, who are all wanting to see each other win, Nobody feels less than, nobody is, gossiping or talking badly about others. It's literally just a place where you can support each other, like take joy in each other's success
Hmm.
and be yourself and feel seen and loved and accepted. Like
Yes. Yeah. It's
that
amazing.
is,
It's an amazing feeling. And when you're like that, yeah, you definitely, you come back. And we were like this at an event in Boise not too long ago, and it was amazing. And I just came back from Fiji, and it was a very similar experience because the people were curated. The people who got to go on this Fiji retreat, it wasn't like open to anybody. They were specifically asked for their heart, and it was the amazing event. And I do want to talk a little bit about, the supporting is amazing, but the colors, one of the things that going to Fiji, like first off, I packed like this, I'm outside today. You can't really see. This is kind of a peachy color shirt that is one of my favorite. I love the color. I packed all my clothes in my navies and my peach and the colors that fit, my air colors. So my whole suitcase, it was really easy. I didn't have to take a lot of clothes. Everything fit. And I swear I was the oldest person at this retreat by at least 15 years. And it was amazing. Every time I had like something, wow, you look great. Oh, I love that. Like the compliments on my style and how I look were amazing. And they just made me feel so free then to do whatever, to give this talk where we were, using voice modulations and talking about changing the world, to go jump in the ocean at night. And it's amazing that it gives you the freedom. So you're supporting each other, but you're also supporting yourself when you feel like that, because you're putting these things on the outside, but they really are changing you on the inside when you embrace your type or your element.
oh, absolutely. Color, like everything else, holds energy. So when you wear the colors that are energetically aligned with who you are and your message, so when all three of these things are in alignment, it allows people to lean in, truly see you, connect with you, trust you, and honestly want to buy from you. Because, well, think of any like conference or anything you've been at where there's speakers. There are some speakers that take the stage. You don't know anything about them. They haven't said a word yet. And you're just like, oh, can't wait till they're done for no reason at all. And then there's other speakers that as soon as they walk in, you're like, oh God, what are they going to talk about? Right? You lean in, there's a
Mhm.
connection. And I believe that starts with their connection with themselves and their alignment, the colors they're wearing. What does that say? A lot of us wear a lot of black, right? My closet used to be all black and gray. It's
Mine
not
too.
anymore. So a lot of people wear black because we're taught that, oh, it goes with everything. It's sophisticated. It's fashionable. Everyone looks great in it. It's slimming, blah, blah, blah,
Slimming.
right? The truth is, black makes you disappear if you're not in the 15% of people that are okay to wear it. For the rest of us, it's like we're walking around like, I really want to connect with you. We wouldn't do that physically, but we're doing it energetically. Think about who else wears black all the time. People who don't want to be seen, then want to blend into the background, high-end wait staff, stagehands at concerts and plays, burglars, right?
Burglars.
People who don't want to be seen.
People at funerals.
That it's the color for grieving because you want to be closed off and just deal with you. So, I mean, sure, it's slimming because it makes you disappear. Like, that's not the slimming I want, right?
No.
If you aren't allowing yourself to fully be seen, how can you truly make the impact in the world you're supposed to make?
Mm, that's so beautiful. Yeah, it is funny though, you talk about when you hear people speak, because there are people that, you're drawn to them, and then they're selling something and you're like, God, I want to buy this. And you have to stop yourself like, but I don't need this. Why do I want to buy this? It's not even, but you just kind of attracted to them. And I notice now it's funny, like even when I'm watching television or, the Oscars or something, and I see these, and you can tell when someone is wearing the wrong colors. Like it's just like, oh, something's wrong there. You're not exactly sure what, but that doesn't look right. And and it's a beautiful dress. It just does not look right. Or something's off in the shape. And and it is more than color too. And people think there's colors, but jewelry, like I used to wear, when I was young, I can remember when I was in college and when I first started I used to wear gold, and I used to wear funky gold, fun, big earrings. And then as I got older, I started getting more conservative, and somehow I switched to silver. I don't know what was cost or what, but my my jewelry was more subdued and it was silver. And when I was typed as an heir, I learned that I should be wearing gold and I should be wearing, kind of stuff that's more fun, more, circles and fun things. I mean, I'm wearing flower earrings in my today, which I bought it when I was in Fiji. But it is funny how when you wear something that fits, people are like, oh, I love your jewelry, or oh, I love, oh, that looks so good on you. And it just stands out more. So it's not just the colors, it's the whole.
The cuts of your tops, your jewelry, the shapes, it's all of that put together. And a lot of times the compliments change from like, oh, that's a nice dress to, oh, you look great in that dress. And there is a key difference. Like, I'm going to paraphrase this because I don't remember the exact quote, but one of the high-end dressmakers said, I know I've done my job well when you remember the woman and not the dress. And I thought that was beautiful because you would think they want their work to stand out. And they're like, no, it's supposed to support and highlight you. And that's what your colors are supposed to do, right? Because if you're hiding behind your colors, what else are you hiding? It's a subconscious disconnect between you and whoever's in front of you, even you and yourself. Like, and you can take this into places in your life that you wouldn't think. Like if you have trouble sleeping, buy bed sheets in your tranquil colors because those are your calm, relaxed, rejuvenating colors. So you can put it in your office and home decor, even the metallic sculptures, so to speak, in your element, that can help ground you and give you energy and power. I have one of my metals is copper, and I have this little copper, it's a dripped copper sculpture of a butterfly that my brother gifted me, not knowing. He's good at that in some ways. And when I start to just feel like drained or down, I'll just kind of hold this for a minute and it'll help rejuvenate me a little bit, right? So I keep that in front of me as a constant reminder, and we're energy. It's all energy. So yeah, it's your colors is the big thing, and then the shapes and the jewelry and the other things. And it can impact your life in ways that are pretty interesting. I just learned that a couple weeks ago, one of my clients is a golfer. And I just learned that she's actually a 2-time world champion golfer. And she said, I didn't really want this. She's a fire. She said, I didn't want this to be true. But I noticed, and I did this experiment for a few weeks to make sure when I wear my fire red golf shirt, instead of the other bright colors I like to wear that are not in her element, she said, my game is better.
Wow.
I am consistently golfing better when I wear my fire red rather than the other colors.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I love that.
I can see that. I think I've mentioned this to you that I notice if I go work out, if I go for a run and I wear, because I didn't replace when I buy my workout clothes, I change the colors, but I didn't, whereas a lot of my clothes, I got rid of my workout clothes. I'm like, all right, well, but when I wear workout clothes in my color, like my workouts are easier. I can run faster. I can lift more weight. Like I just feel like my performance is better when I wear workout clothes in my colors versus the black, which is what everything is that's not in my colors. Now I still wear them sometime when I'm not doing something, but wearing them when I want better performance really does make a difference.
And in time, as you replace things, it'll be in your colors. That's
Right. Yeah. Eventually I'm replacing everything.
That's really cool to hear though. I love hearing those like abstract things that change that we wouldn't think of. Like, of course, you expect people respond better when I speak on stage, or my close rate has went up, or, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I feel great. But like hearing those types of specific changes, it's really cool. Like I'm learning more myself still, right? Because we're always growing and evolving. But to hear some of the results that people are experiencing, it's really exciting to me. So thank you for sharing that.
I can even, having not dated for over 25 years, I can even imagine that if you were dating and if you're in your colors, you're going to feel better and you're going to be you, but you'll also attract the right people and not the wrong people, I would guess more likely, or at least you'll be yourself, so the wrong people will not necessarily you won't find them attractive in some ways or something. So it may help from that perspective.
So I'm single and occasionally I'll date a little bit. So I can answer that. Um, yeah, I have found that I'm a lot quicker. I wear my colors on my dates and I'm very specific about what I wear because there's colors to be open, there's colors to stand out, right? There's different colors for different things you want to put out and receive. So I am very selective on what colors I wear whenever I go on dates, especially first dates. And I have noticed that if it's a mismatch, like if it's a definite mismatch, it's like immediate. So it's just like, yeah, okay, this isn't it. So yeah, and I do believe that it will be a huge factor when I do find the right person as well. So the biggest part of that though is feeling confident in yourself. Like I know that I bring something amazing and I want somebody who adds to my life and I can add to their life, right? So, I mean, it's perspective as well.
Mhm.
But being yourself is a big part of it. One of the hiccups with dating is everyone's wearing a mask. And once you become aware, not everyone, but most people,
Many
and
people, yeah.
sometimes it's subconscious. So once you're aware of all of these things, you can actually filter a lot out. And I of course pay attention to what colors they're wearing. Like, if I see a lot of black, I'm like, "Ooh, you're closed off. Okay." And it's subconscious. We don't even know it. So it is interesting in the dating world, but
New dating
overall,
activity would be shopping. Let's type ourselves and go shopping. That would actually
so
be really fun.
it could be, it could be. Um, so I had some maintenance work done on my house recently. Um, there was a big leak and I don't know, it was a like almost month-long ordeal. But the first person that came to look at my to look at the leak and what was happening, the access to the attic area is in my bedroom closet. And I just moved into this house, but the closet was like the first room that was fully put together. Anyway, so this man comes and he doesn't speak the same language. So he's using Google Translator to text and type and show me try to, have a conversation. And then he left. He didn't find the leak. He said they needed to send someone else. So I was like, okay, fine. Well, he asked for my number or my husband's number so that he could update us or something. So I gave him my number. And when he left 2 minutes later, I got a text saying, you seem like a very nice person. Are you married or are you single or something along those lines? I was like, we can't even have a conversation. So this, whatever. So I put it in my girl chat, like I screenshotted the text and I put it in my girl chat with my two best friends. And they said, "Oh yeah, you can." He could tell. I said, "How does he know I'm a nice person?" Like we couldn't even have a conversation. And they said, "Well, you could tell a lot about a person by their closet." And the other one said, "Well, all he needed to know is you have great style." I was like, "Whatever." So it became a joke. I'm probably gonna make a reel or something out of that. I
It's
thought it was kind of
possible.
funny. I thought it was kind of funny, but yeah, no. Needless to say, I am not dating him. But
Yeah. That brings up a question, which I don't think I've ever asked you before. So I know you're never supposed to ask a question you don't know the answer to, but knowing that there are 4 different elements and, you talked the whole about building the house, are there like, if you're going to have a business partner or your spouse, or are there elements that match better? I mean, I seem like 2 fires could be rather fiery, 2 airs, nothing might get ever done, so
I do think that balance is great. So my best friend is a fire also, and we did have a business together for a while. And we bought a dream. Basically, it was an MLM that probably says a lot right there. And we realized probably a year or so in, we disagreed on some big decisions and it made it a little complicated because we're both, and this is before we knew we were fires, but we were both very adamant about what we wanted, and we separately realized that we were going to have to choose the business or the friendship. So we had lunch one day, both going in with the same intention. And we had a real heart-to-heart discussion, and we dissolved the partnership in the business because our friendship meant more to us. And we were able to carry on with our friendship just fine. So when we get into it, though, like when we disagree about something major, when we're frustrated with each other, the other girls in the group get really uncomfortable because it can be a little explosive. We don't yell or tear each other down, but it just, the energy gets uncomfortable. And then we're over it like 5 minutes later. It's just like, okay, whatever, moving on. So it is kind of interesting that way. And the elements do support each other also, though, right? Like airs breathe life into fires. Airs breathe life into everyone. And you get those ideas going and you bring everyone up. So it is helpful to have a business partner that's going to help ground you a little bit, at least tie the strings somewhere to tether you while you're afloat around. Waters, they can be indecisive. And so two waters together might struggle to stay on course. And since they're both a little more introverted, that could have some issues getting out there, right? Like enrolling people and doing the things. So I believe that knowing your element and your partner's element, I believe it can help a lot because you could see where you can support each other naturally and where maybe some less than happy things can come up. So yeah, I think that that's important in relationships like your family as well. There's a coach who is he's a parent coach, and he's a neuroscientist who turned parent coach, and he got his entire family typed because he wanted to see how he could be a better parent. And what he learned was his daughter's an air. She was in piano classes and getting in trouble all the time, like piano lessons. He believes that the music and the arts are a big part of, child rearing. So he took her out of the lessons until he could figure out like what to do. They had a party one night at their house and he was playing the piano and having fun. She sat down next to him to play with him and it became fun. So now every morning when he's taking a shower, she's playing the piano. She wakes up 15 minutes early every day just to play the piano because it's fun now. So she just needed it not to be boxed in. Whereas his son is an earth, very introverted, very rigid, needs to know what's going to happen, right? So like he plans something with the son every Thursday at 3:30. Well, if on Tuesday he was like, let's go for ice cream, his son might be like, wait, but it's not Thursday. So it can help in parenting. It can help in your relationships. It definitely can help in your business partnerships as well. So the short answer is yes.
Yes. All right. Well, this has been great, and I could talk to you all day, although I like to keep these short enough that people want to listen. Before we go, do you have anything coming up? How could people reach you? What would you like to share with the audience, Amy?
Absolutely. Well, I am co-hosting my very first summit in a few weeks, which Lori, you're going to be one of our speakers.
Yes.
So would love to invite you to that. And you can always reach me through my website, embodyyourelement.com. So embody, EMBODY, your YOUR, element, ELEMENT.com. So those are two ways.
Yeah, your summit's going to be really exciting. I will put the link for both of these in the chats and the various platforms in the comments so you can see them. This has been great, Amy. Like I said, I love talking with you. I can't wait to see you again in person. Hopefully that'll be soon. And so last thing I like to ask all my guests is if you just have one message, one tip that you'd like to leave with the audience, what would it be?
So I would say one message is you are a masterpiece. You deserve to be framed as such. Your clothes are just the frame. And a tip, if you wear a lot of black or gray or any other color and you're like, well, I don't know what to wear, I'll give you two colors that look great on everyone so you have somewhere to get started. An eggplant, that deep dark purple is one of them, and a true teal, not too blue, not too green, but a true teal. Both of those colors work for everyone.
That's great. So yeah, I have eggplant shirt downstairs that I was going to wear today, but I might wear it tomorrow. So great. So thank you so much, Amy. This has been amazing. And like I said, if you have never been typed, if you haven't had your colors done, if you're questioning, gee, is this worthwhile? I want to tell you it is. Reach out to Amy because she's amazing, and it will make a difference in your life, in your business, in how you feel about yourself. And it'll bring a lot of clarity. You'll understand things that you never really understood before. So I highly recommend it. So thank you so much, Amy, for being here. Next week, we are actually going to be at a little bit different time. We're going to be an hour and a half later when we do this next Monday. My guests are going to be Rachel and Jason Bradley, doctors Rachel and Jason Bradley. They're both functional medicine practitioners, and we're going to talk about a new approach to health. So you don't want to miss that as well. So thank you for being here. Have a fantastic day and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye-bye.